Thank you very much.
We did. Just the question.
All right, meeting is now streaming. Good morning, everyone. We're glad that you're able to make it again for this session. Last week, we couldn't meet. Well, we had some conversations around what we really wanted. But today, we are pleased to have Mr. Simisola Saheyi. How do you pronounce that, sir?
Saheyi.
Saheyi, okay?
Yes.
He is the hosting and network infrastructure architect at Venture Garden Group in Lagos. I want you to put your hands together for this wonderful guy. Also would like to say it openly, because we got a kind of disappointment. Simi was able to come to our rescue this morning. And what he will be doing is just to answer our questions. I know many of you have questions to ask on cloud computing, getting started. And if you have been taking those courses, you will have had some cases where you need to clarify certain things. If you ask me, I don't know. I just know Google Docs or do Google Drive, nothing more than that. But he has, and he works in a very reputable organization who is a partner with VGG. So once again, Simi, we want to welcome you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Over to you now.
Oh,
Then if you have any question, please, let's begin to get it set. After he has finished talking, then we'll begin to take your questions. Thank you very much for coming.
Good. Can you permit me to just share screen? Let me just share.
Oh, all right. Even though you have a presentation, so I'm giving you the co-host, right, immediately.
Yeah, please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah. So I'll just because the notice was very short, so I'll just speak on few things that the cloud is all about, more or less the cloud concepts. So we know we have like the traditional way that we do stuff. So if you see by the left, you see we have an on-premise IT, meaning that you have your server, your network, everything in a building, and it's in that same building that you are working, right? And also, if you see by the left, you have like the internet, then all your services are your server, your storage, your database, your applications, they are all over, you're accessing them over the internet. So this is just like the basic of cloud computing. Cloud computing takes away that burden of you managing all these servers, your storage, your database, your applications, and also your, even as you having those resources there, you still have to provide security for them. You have to provide, like let's say in Nigeria that we have now, you have to provide power, we all know the cost of fuel these days is not smiling. So you have to put all those things into consideration when you are running anything on premise, meaning you are running them on your environment, in your location where you are. Then you also have to now think of internet to that your service, because you want people to reach your service or whatever applications you are building or whatever service you want to render to the general public. You want people to be able to reach you. So you also have to factor in cost of internet. And some of us do MTN, Airtel, and the likes. You know the rate at which they charge for you having 10 gig of data or 20 gig of data per month. Now think of you now having where people need to access your site on a 24/7 basis. and that your server needs to be up and running. So all these things are what more or less brought into the advent of cloud computing, whereby you take the cloud providers, that's the AWS, that's Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Alibaba, Microsoft Azure. There are many of them. Lino, there are so many cloud providers that takes away that burden from you. So they come with the concept of say, oh, instead of you provisioning like now, so let's go back a bit now. Say I want to start up a company here in Nigeria. And the first thing I need to think of, oh, my company that I'm starting up here, I need to buy servers for it. So I don't know what that my application would contain or what it will carry. So what I do is I buy a very expensive server to say, oh, in case my application requirement goes very large, I can the server that I bought will be able to serve me. So I won't have to start saying I want to buy additional servers to it. So I offshoot my budget to say I buy a very expensive server and the likes. So after I've set up that server, I have it running in my environment. I have developed my application is running on it. Then I now think of, oh, I need to now serve this application to the general public. Then I bring in an ISP that, oh, I need to get a public IP. A IP address is an address over the internet whereby people access your resources. So I also need to now think of again that too, because people are not really good with numbers. Not that people are not good with numbers. People can be recalling numbers anytime they want to access my resources. Then I say, oh, let me give it a name that people can reference. So people say they want to access Simi service. What they do is they go to simi.com. And so there's a DNS service, domain name service, that handles that takes off that ethic and do that domain name, whatever, for you to access my application. So meaning you just go to your browser. So just like if you want to go to Google now, you just type google.com. What happened in the back end? You don't care. What you care is, let me get to Google search engine and be able to make use of that service. So all those things I've already put them in place. Then now, when cloud now came into place, cloud now says, cloud provider now says, instead of you buying all those services, and there's no the possibility that the program or the service that I'm selling would hit the market and people will adopt it. It's a 60-40 or 50-50 chance that people might adopt it or not. So meaning I'm taking a very huge risk in terms of the financial aspect. It's a very huge risk from my own side. So what cloud now does is, instead of me purchasing that high server, I can just go to service cloud providers like AWS and Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud. I'm more familiar with the three, but mostly I work with AWS and Microsoft Azure. So I go to there and I purchase, so they have what we call virtual environments, because I don't have access to the environment physically, unlike where I bought the server, like in my own premise side, where I bought the servers, I can physically go to the server, power it up and have access to that server. Unlike where it's in the cloud now, where the server is already set up. All I just need to go is to click on button to say, oh, I need server with this specification, with this specification, with this specification. And within minutes, my server is up. Unlike when I'm setting up on-premise. Because if I'm setting up on-premise, take into the fact that I need to license that my server. I need to get an operating system for my server. I need to install software on it. Almost all those stuff, they take time, but in the cloud, within minutes, your server is up and running. And also, then I need to now think of also security of my server, both physically and virtually. Physically, in the sense that I don't want anybody to just have access to my server room to go and tamper with my server. Maybe someone mistakenly go and hit the power cable and my server switch off. So I don't want that. So I have to put my server in a secure place, which people call server room. And that place also too, there's another expense for me to set up that one. I have to make sure the place is cool, the place has security, access to that place is monitored. I have to install cameras here and there to monitor in case if just for me to ensure that nobody unauthorized access is getting to that my server room. And also, I also have to put in place that picking from experience because I've worked in a physical server environment. So I have to also think of the humidity of that place because I don't want my server to be too cool. So to be too cool and humidity, that means the water saturation in the air. I don't want it to be too cool, so the water in the air can damage my server. So I have to put in an humidifier, which will be sucking out the water in the air, just to maintain that room temperature. And also I have to also think of fire extinguisher and the likes. So because it's a server room, so I won't put all these normal water extinguisher there because that one, if there was fire, now that would damage my server. So what people do, what organizations do is they get in this, there's this device, they call it FM200, smoke detector. I've forgotten the full this thing. Well, I know it's FM200 because we have that in the former, one of the organizations I've worked for. So that is to detect, and we also have a fire alarm. So if there's any smoke, it will trigger the alarm. And after a while, if there's no attention, so it gets to a threshold, then it automatically will dispense the gas into the room to extinguish any fire without damaging my server. So another thing again is I have to have someone in place because the one place I work, we have someone we have guys that run shifts that monitors the server room because there are times whereby I get called in the middle of the night that, hey, this AC, yes, the old ACs are stopped working. And you don't want a situation where your sole server, because once it gets to, there's a mechanism that are in place in all this, just like in your laptop, your computers, when it gets very hot, it will shut down. Even your phone, if it gets very hot, it will shut down. Well, some phones that they didn't do, like the days of the iPhones, then with that probably there was a mix in this thing. That you hear of people iPhone getting bugs and the rest, or exploding in their pocket. So once it gets very hot, instead of it damaging the server, the appliance, it will shut down the server. So all those stuff, I need to put them in place. But when it comes to the cloud, I don't need to even bother at all. What fine is, I don't care whether the server is in Oshogbo or is in Elisha or it's wherever it's, I don't care. What I know is my server is up and running because there's an agreement between me and the cloud provider that my server would be available at all times. So they call it, there's a service level agreement to say, oh, there's a 99 points, it's 11 nines on AWS here, 99.999999 percentage that your server is always online. So meaning that you can access your server within that time. So that is 0.1% because there are sometimes where you see that, oh, people say that Facebook is down, this thing is down. So it's down 0.001% that they are saying that, oh, yes, though we promise you that it will be available at all the time, but there's a caveat that something might happen which is beyond their control. So even up to this cloud providers, there are also some checks and check maker that they put in place to just ensure that yes, those servers are available. So like if you have taken the course, like the introduction to AWS, you have seen something regarding what's the name now? Regions, zones, and the like. So AWS availability zones, you've seen things like regions and availability zones here. Availability zones are the ones that the clouds are putting in place to say, oh, because this person has a server. Then what we do is we replicate or we do a copy of that server, whatever he has on this server, we replicate it to another location within that same location. So let's see now, we are in Lagos, and I want my people, people I'm serving are all in Lagos. So I deploy my server in Lagos region, right? So I want people to be able to access. So because AWS know that too, anything can happen to where I deploy my server. So what they do is they have like availability zones. Availability zones are like data centers whereby they have thousands of servers, right? So they do a connectivity between zone A, zone B, zone C within that region. So meaning that the zone can be here in Ikeja, another one can be in Ikorodu, another one will be in Lekki. So there is a connectivity within those 3 zones, meaning that if one zone were to go down, you could still access your resources in the other 2 zones, and that's because there's so many policies in terms of cloud computing, whereby there's a standard that they must maintain, even for companies that, like one of the company I've worked, like based on regulation, CBN, and also the CBN regulation, and there's another body, PCI DSS, and that's process if you are doing card, dealing with card, that's a paper, I've forgotten the full meaning, but PCI DSS, you can Google that. So they regulate all these financial institutions to say, oh, if you have a physical data center, you should also have a secondary data center whereby your infrastructure that you have here, you should have a copy of it in another data center. So, but eventually, if your main data center will gets destroyed or become unaccessible, you should be able to fill over to your secondary data center. You should be able to serve in that data center. So they also do things like failover, whereby they do exercise to say, oh, this data center that we also have, I'm already digressing out of this course. That can what do they call it now? That can all the resources, all the servers that we have, all the applications we have here, can they run seamlessly from that other location? So sometimes you see companies like MTN or Airtel and the likes, they send you messages that they want to do maintenance to that their service won't be available within this so period. And mostly they do it at off-peak period where they know that customers are not really making use of their service. They do it around midnight. So what happens during those periods is they do the failover exercise to say, oh, all the servers that we have here, all the resources we have here, we are shutting down this place, and we are bringing them up in the other location and want to confirm. So they will do transactions to confirm that yes, it is up and running. If it's not up and running, they note what is not making it to work. Then during their next exercise, they do to remediate that, to just say that, oh, but I'm sure if these servers were to go down, or this building were to collapse, or whatever it is were to happen to this building, that we have our servers located, we should be able to run it in the other location within minutes or within hours. So that's the same thing that applies also in the cloud. So you have availability zones whereby your servers is running in multiple locations. And some people can even do it based on the flexibility of the cloud. Some people can even do it that instead of you having it only in, say, Lagos State now, you can now have that flexibility to say you put it up in another location. But that's one, you have to consider your cost, because even if you are even running it on a physical environment whereby you have your server in this location, setting up another server, meaning you are spending the same amount that you used to purchase all this equipment, you are spending double of it in your secondary location. So all those checker maker, yeah, there are things that you need to consider and benefit of the cloud, because now you don't spend that huge amount, because now so you won't buy a server, say because it's not like the normal computers that we have now. Servers are always big in size and in space. If you even buy one, it's over 4 million plus, right? And you don't want to say, oh, I'm not even sure that this business would strive in the market, and I'm already investing 4 million. So why not consider the cloud? That's why the cloud came into place. Why not, whereby I can spend 100,000 and see, oh, does this thing, is it working? If it's working, then I can say, okay, yes, and I want to scale it up. But if it's not working, I can say, okay, that 100,000 is a waste, it's not a waste, we say it's a learning curve to say, oh, this does not thrive in the market, then I need to look for another business or another venture to go into that will thrive in the market, yeah. So that's major the core stuffs, right? So like I explained earlier, AWS owns and maintains everything that you put in the cloud, right? So everything that you have, on your on-premise environments, you don't, like on your on-premise environment, I don't managing the security, the physical security, the power, the internet, the network, and all the things that you need in a physical building. Yeah. But when it comes to the cloud now, AWS is taking away those responsibilities away from you. Not like you are not doing anything, but what they tell you now is we are managing all the physical hardware. Now yours is to make sure that your own data in the cloud is safe, right? So you ensure that your whatever data you are putting in the cloud, you ensure you now manage the security. That is not left to you. So that's where cloud engineers, cloud practitioners, cloud developers, cloud DevOps engineer, and the likes. That's where they come in to say, oh, we help you to manage and ensure that your security, your data that you put in the cloud is secured, right? So, as let me see. Okay. I'll soon just round off because there's so much to talk. So, like in the cloud now, so you have what we call infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. If you've taken those courses, you will have seen these terms. And there are so many other services. You see network as a service, solution, there's network as a service, whereby it's only networking services that you are making use of. So there are so many other services that you would see, but these are like the summary of the majority of it, because you have your infrastructure as a service, whereby what you are managing, what you are doing in the cloud is you are the one managing you are not the one managing the server patches or physical server. So what you are doing is you are the one creating the server. You're also the one that will tell you that I want to shut down the server by this particular time. I want the server to be up and running, but I don't want to use the server again. So you are also the one that will specify the type of resources that you want on that server. So that's majorly infrastructure as a service. So you are the one also creating the database server. So like they have the service in the cloud. So you just go there, just click, and you have the service on. So you also have platform as a service. Platform as a service is you are not the one provisioning the server again. Now you are only making use of that platform. So this platform as a service is mostly used by software developers, right? So they don't provision the underlying infrastructure. They don't care whether they are running on a dedicated server or they are running on a virtual machine, right? But if it is infrastructure as a service, you do that. You are the one that will say, well, I'm doing on a dedicated server, or I want my application to be on a virtual server. But in the platform as a service, you don't care. What you just let is, oh, I need to deploy or I need to publish this application. I need that platform. So those platform as a service, that's where it comes. Then software as a service, this one is what most of us, everybody uses. So just like your Google now, it's a software as a service. Your email is a software as a service. Your whatever application you access over the internet, is software as a service. So they don't give you what you just care about is, I want to access email. You go to your Gmail and you access your email. You want to access browse the internet, or you want to search something in the internet, just type in your search bar, and you don't care about the application, whatever it is that is running under it. All you just care about is the what's the name now? The solution itself, right? You just want to consume it. You don't care. You don't bother about it. So another good example is so just like even this Zoom that we are using, right, is a good example of software as a service, right? I don't care about the application. I don't care about how Zoom is running. All I just want to do is, I want to do a video conference, and I'm here at Zoom, and I'm making use of that service, right? So I think, okay, I'll stop at this slide. So like in the cloud now, what we have two, there are different types of cloud. If you go through the introduction of cloud computing, you would have seen where they talk about private cloud, public cloud, and then private. Let me not do public. So private, hybrid, and so public cloud, yeah, that's just the main cloud itself. So the private is like some organization that they want to, yes, they want to do cloud deployment, but they don't want their service to be accessed over the internet. Like they don't want it to be accessed over the public internet. So they have these cloud providers, they have what we call private cloud. So there are some companies like in Nigeria now, like I know of Main One, Rack Center, yeah. Those two companies, right? If you want your private, you want to have a private cloud service, you go to them and say that, oh, I want to make use of AWS, or I want to make, I know, yes, they have Azure, yeah, Microsoft Azure. So if you want to make use of Microsoft's cloud service, you go to them and say, oh, I want it to be on the private cloud. I don't want it to be over the internet. So they give you a special link whereby you use to a private link whereby only you and your organization and the set up network connectivity for you to be able to access that link, to access that private cloud. So meaning you are not bothered about the infrastructure majorly, but you are just you're accessing those resources over that private network. And also, this private cloud also is still the same, it's still more or less like your physical on-premise servers, whereby you can just say, like now, so like the companies I work for now, so them, they can say, yes, we are doing private cloud because they are, all their servers and everything that they use is in-house, is local to them. Nobody can access it without coming through their network to access it here. So then we now move to hybrid. Hybrid now is now talking about where people say, oh, I want to go to cloud, but I don't want to move all my resources to the cloud. So what they do is they set up connections, like they call it VPN connections, VPN tunnels, or VPN tunnels between their private and the public cloud providers to say, oh, I'm only accessing some, I only want some fraction of my services to be accessed over the cloud, or there's some service that I see that you guys are offering in the cloud that I need access, I need my private organization to also be able to make use of. So they run a mix of both. Then the last one is now solely the cloud, that's the public cloud, whereby you don't have anything on-premise at all. You don't have any private hosted environment at all. Everything you have, it's all cloud-based, meaning you are solely on AWS, you are solely on Microsoft Azure, and you can also decide to say, oh, you are using the 2 or you are using the 3, depending on whichever service you see. So you see some migration to say, oh, today they are on AWS, and next tomorrow, and it's like they are not really getting AWS, they see a service that they want to use on Microsoft Azure, and they be like, oh, this because so one good thing about the cloud is the pricing model. So you can see that this service is cheaper in AWS, but it's more expensive in Azure. And you can see that this service is cheaper in Azure and it's more expensive in AWS. So some people will say, oh, like since we've been on AWS and we've been using AWS for over a couple of years, and we don't really make use of all their services, and just this particular service we are making use of. And if we had to do the price comparison of that service with what we have on AWS, though they are little, but AWS or Microsoft Azure is cheaper. So they move to Microsoft Azure. So the cloud also gives that flexibility, not on like the on-premise, whereby you cannot say, oh, you bought this server today, and tomorrow you are like, oh, you don't want this server again, you want to buy that one. No. On the cloud, you can just say, oh, since you've already spent some amount, I'm not comfortable with this cloud, you move to another cloud. So there's this flexibility that you can move across the platform from one cloud provider to the other. So last we'll talk about is the trade capital expenses and also the provision expense here. So this is just what I've mentioned, just some of everything that I've mentioned. So you only pay for only what you use. You only pay, that's one good benefit of the cloud. And that's the major selling factor of the cloud, which has made it to thrive the whole environment or the whole business space, right? You only pay for only what you use. There's no dedication that you say, oh, because now if I should buy this laptop now, and tomorrow I feel like I don't need the laptop again, I can't sell this laptop for the same amount I bought it. Even for people that are no computer village, if you just buy a new phone today, now, and you say you want to sell that new phone again, they can cut the price for it and say, no, they are not buying it because there's no more brand again, right? So same thing with the cloud. You only pay for what you use. You don't pay for, you can't, so though they do have the option whereby you can pay for, to say, oh, I want to be dedicated for like 3 years or 1 year. Like, so those are another in-depth topic when you are saying you want to reserve your server for like a year period. So just to get some discount on like when you are paying only for pay as you go. So they have the pay as you go. They also have the reserve option whereby you can say, oh, you want to reserve your server for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, as the case may be. So you also have the option, and they also give you that option because they know some organization want to have that feeling of say, oh, because in the cloud now, if you say, like, say someone like me now, I sign up to the cloud provider and I want to deploy a server, right? So sorry, I said I should take it slowly. Okay, so for someone in the cloud now, and you say you want to only have you only want to pay for okay, so for organizations like now that some organizations that you know that they want that feel of say, they want that same feeling that they are the one making use of the whole server in the cloud, because in the cloud what it comes to be is like if you say I want to create a virtual server, what they do is out of they have what we call wait, let me see if I have that slide here. They have what we call I should have that slide somewhere around here. So they have what we call virtualization. Yes, okay, I have it here. So they have what we call virtualization, right? So that one talks about it talks about breaking down your main server into multiple servers. So like you buy a physical server. So because you buy that physical server, just like someone you have in building contract or building or landlords, they have a whole building. So instead of them saying I can't stay in this whole building that has 24 rooms, so they start lending out one more room to say, oh, you have 2 bedroom there, you can pay for 1 bedroom, and you say, oh, you pay for 1 bedroom, so you only pay for that fraction of room. And you see people that say, oh, I want 3 bedroom and the likes. So same thing in the concept of cloud. So or same thing with virtualization. So you have, like, if you see here, we have what we call the server. That's the physical server you bought. Then on top of that server, you have your operating system which you install. So you can now say, oh, on that operating system, that this is the only thing application I want to run on this server. You make use of that operating system. But because organizations see that, oh, I can purchase a server of 10 million, instead of me using that 10 million to run only one application, why don't I split that 10 million server into multiple servers? So that's where virtualization came into play. So on top of that physical server, they have what we call an hypervisor. It's like a software which you install on top of your main server. You can even do it on your physical server, on your physical laptop. There are softwares like VirtualBox, VirtualBox here that you can install on your laptop, and to give you that opportunity to run another operating system on that your laptop. But it all depends on your capacity of your laptop. So if let's say now your laptop is having 16 gig of RAM, you can say, oh, I want to create another server, another machine, or another environment, just like Windows or whatever operating system I want to run. I want to put it inside my same laptop. And on that environment, you assume that yes, this is a new environment, new configuration to itself, right? So that's what so that go back to what I was talking about. That's in terms of the cost, right? So organizations look at, say, oh, they don't want to spend that 10 million on just one application, one server, just for one application to use it. So they want other applications. So what they do is they split that your server to multiple operating systems. So you have some, so they are base application server. Then they have a server that is running their application. They have a server running their database. They have another server running their storage. They have a server that they configure as a network appliance. They have a server that they do data dump on it. So whatever it is that they want to use this, so they can just spin up a new server on top of that main server that they have. So what gives them that capability is what we call hypervisor. So in the cloud, there is also that concept also comes into play. So the cloud providers, they give you the option to just create servers at click of button. But what happens in the back end is they already have the server up and running, because you saying you are accessing in the cloud is the same. It just is, the whole thing is just you are not managing it. You are accessing it from another location over the internet. The server is running physically internet. Right? So they give you the option to say, oh, you can spin up so server with same specification, and you have it up and running. So that same technology, the cloud provider. So there are some organizations that now come that, oh, I don't want any other person to be on, because now me as a person, I can have a share. Say I'm the one holding that app one, app one now. I can be the one. Another person can come and be using app two. Another person can come and say he's using app three, which is another virtual server. So the company can say, oh, I don't want any other person to be under my hardware. So what the company will do is they purchase, so the cloud gives you that option to purchase that physical server, to say, oh, you are only the one working on it. So that one will give you that dedicated server that you are the one, and you can do whatever you want to run on it. And some applications that you have in the cloud too, are the quality that they run on a physical server, not on on a virtual environment, right? So that flexibility too is also in the cloud, right? So why I brought us here just to explain that concept. We don't need to go this far, right? And so I was talking about the cost, right? So the main savings in the cost is you only spend for what you need. You don't need to invest, unlike when you do in data center. Though, so for even from your pay as you go, or as you are spending in that regard, you can do a forecast to say, oh, I've spent 10,000 naira within the 1 month, and this is what I want. Can do a forecast to say, okay, if I want this application to grow, and based on the usage of my application and the like, I can decide to what now? I can decide to scale it up, and this will be, so it gives you that projection that you can do. Or like when you have it in the physical environment, whereby once you've purchased it, you live with it. You can't do anything to that server. So like on like the cloud option, whereby you don't pay, you pay, and once you are done, or once your product is done, you can start to terminate whatever thing that you have, and so they won't bill you again. Spending the time that you say, oh, this is my program, it runs every 3 months, or once in a year. And once I run it once in a year, I make 20 million. So I can say, okay, instead of me now purchasing a server that will cost me, say the server will cost me 10 million, why not go to the cloud and run it for 10,000 naira for that 1 month? Once I'm done for that 1 month, shut it down till the next month again, which I will run my server. So I think I've talked a lot. So please, if you have questions, let them come in.
Right. Let's put our hands together for Simi. So this is the time for, I did not even expect him to talk for this long, but thank you very much. We really appreciate the breakdown of what this is all about. I only knew a little before we started, but now I think I have a very good grip of what we're talking about. So it's time for questions. Please, can you just take advantage of this opportunity? Some of you have been taking the courses. Raise your hand up if you have been taking those courses. Let me see your hand up. At American Center, I can only see 2 people here. Okay, 2.5 or 3. Okay, 4. Any other person who has been taking those courses? Bauchi, anybody who has been taking courses? Jigawa? Okay, Maiduguri, I can see VI. Oshogbo, is there anybody there taking those courses? Makodi, Benin City, okay? So this is the time for you to ask your questions. Are there challenges? Are there situations? Are there things you don't understand? Do you like to put in more? Please, this is the time for you to raise your hand and ask your question. Any first taker? If you don't, I have questions here. Please, can you minimize the presentation so that I can see the screen very well? Yes, anyone? Okay, I don't know you people to be shy. So while they are thinking, I would like you to probably help someone who is here. I have some people who really want to be a professional. What are opportunities that are available? How do I become like you? I want to be like you.
Okay.
So how do I become like you? I can see some people shaking their heads.
So the hard truth about it is you have to put in your time to study, right? So I know for me when I started, right? So let me at least give a background how I started. When I finished school, we all know Nigeria economy and how we struggle to get work. So one thing that helped me was more or less like I was volunteering to learn. So I was volunteering here and there to just see, let me even get into a company to do internship or to just volunteer without paid or without payment or whatever it is. I just want that experience. Then I've not really decided on which part. I also know I want to work in a tech-related company, right? So luckily I got an internship, right? So doing that my internship, though the pay wasn't much, because I know some people will be like, oh, that you've gotten into a tech-related job, you should be earning hundreds of thousands of nairas and you should be balling, right? But the sad truth is it doesn't come like that. You have to pay that your sacrifice. You have to learn because for organization to start paying, though there are some people that they got into internship and because I have friends that got into internship and then they're earning times 10 of what I was earning. They were earning over 150,000, 180,000. And yeah, well, I was even earning up to 50,000 as an intern. To even go back and forth from home to the work, from home to work. Money has finished. So there are so many discouraging factors. But what kept me going was that I saw that, oh, there's a prospect in this field, right? So I dedicated my time to learn. So also because the place I did my internship then, they enforced, it wasn't it's more like an enforcement, but it was like part of your performance evaluation to ensure that at least because even as we are now, we've asked that people should go and learn, go and study this introduction to cloud computing. It's only few people that have studied it, right? So it all comes to that little education that you have to say, oh, I must do at least 1 hour or 30 minutes of self-development per day. I must do 30 minutes or 1 hour per day. Even up to now, I still do that because you just wake up tomorrow and you see that, oh, there's a new technology in town. and people are already diving towards that technology. You won't say, oh, because I've mastered this thing over the years, I should be able to thrive well. No, it doesn't come that way in 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 tech, right? So you have had even, I'm not sure if you have been to other speakers where they tell you that, oh, that even organization look at your certification to say, oh, this person certified. Because for you coming to say, oh, you are an intern or you want to learn or you are someone that is willing to learn, they should have seen that dedication from your part to say, oh, I've taken this course in cloud computing, introduction to cloud computing, and I finished, here's my certificate of completion to say, yes, I did this course and I learned it and I know this and this and this and that. So it gives them that confidence to say, oh, this is someone that we can build, or this is someone that is willing to learn. So the whole point of it is you have to dedicate your time to learn. There's no two way, there's no cutting corners in this line of tech. You can't say, oh, I know this person, then I will drive in tech. No, you yourself, you have to know your onions. You have to know you have to know it. You have to dedicate your time. That's just the simple truth. You have to dedicate your time. So there are sometimes whereby you feel discouraged. A lot of times that you be like, what is all this? Because I've had friends that when we started together, they were like, man, see me, I beg, this thing is not for me again. They went back to their tailoring business and they continued with that. After a while, the guy came back and was like, man, this tailor work self is one is too much. Then he came back again. Now it's fully in tech. It's fully in tech. He's a software developer, it's fully in tech. So the thing is, you just have to dedicate your time and pay that sacrifice. At times it will be like, oh, that this now you've been learning for over years or over the months. You see people that so they start maybe today, within 3 months, they've gotten a placement. And I see someone that has started over 3 years, they have gotten placement up to now. But they keep learning because they know when that opportunity comes. What people look at it, oh, what have you been doing since all this time that you are looking for a job? Or what value can you add to our organization? So with the things that you've learned, you see people that get into interviews of senior roles, not because that they are qualified, but because of the things that they've learned, the things they've been able to say, oh, I've learned this technology, I've done this with while I was playing with this technology, I've done this, I've done that. So they see that, oh, this person is someone that is willing to learn, someone that is willing to grow, right? So you just need to dedicate that your time. There's no to be about it. Just dedicate that your time, and you will thrive in this. That one, there's no two ways about it. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So we now start with Benicity. Please, Benicity, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. For instance, you want to be a cloud engineer. Do you need the programming language? Which programming language do you need to be a skilled cloud engineer?
Okay. So you do and you don't. You do in the sense that you don't in the sense that if you are starting up, right, you like for cloud practitioners, because majorly you start working you work majorly in the cloud web platform, meaning that you go to their website and start doing stuff around. But as you thrive in this tech field, you see people say things like automating your process, or instead of you doing it in the cloud or doing it in the web console, right? You do it in you have a script, right, to run it. So so what that gives you is it reduces the room of human error, right? And because you want to make your work unique, you want to be unique in this field, yes, you would need programming language, but it's not that you need to be very in-depth or to be a core programmer. So there are simple programs like Python that you can even start with. Just know the core concepts. Because as a cloud engineer, right, there are times whereby you might need to even help your developers to look at their code to say, oh, this thing is not working. This thing, from what you could see, it's not working. And that's also a cutting edge to you to say, oh, this person, you can to interpret their code or their error to say, oh, this thing is not working. This is what you feel that you should do, right? So you need it. But for a start, you might not need it, but as you go through this field, you definitely need to know programming. I myself, I picked up, I was running from it before, but after a year, and I was saying that too, some of the tasks that you do are repetitive tasks. You want to automate those tasks. You don't want to start waking up midnight to start checking if your bash or your shell script that you want to use to run to do a backup for a file, if that script ran or not. You don't want to waking up every midnight to be running that script or to be doing that step yourself. You want to like put it into a command and say, okay, by this thing, copy this file from this file. Once you have copied, exit. So all those steps like that, you need the concept of programming language, and you need to understand programming language for you to be able to do that. So yes, you would need programming language. Well, for a start, you might not, but as you go through the field, definitely, you need programming language.
All right, thank you very much. Yes. Can we go to Maiduguri? Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Maiduguri.
Yes, sir, we are. Go ahead, ask your question. What are the questions? No, you don't need to do that, sir. But my question goes like this. Are there any special skills needed to become a cloud computer engineer? If so, okay. And if so, what are they? That's my question.
Are there
any special?
I didn't get it.
Are there any special skills that are required to be a cloud computer engineer? If yes, what are they?
Yeah.
Probably you should know how to play football.
There's no special. There's no special skill because you've seen people. I'm not sure if people know of this Nigeria actress, Kira is also. She's now a cloud security engineer. She started at the age of 45 or so. And she's now a certified cloud engineer. If you go and check her on LinkedIn, you see her there. A certified cloud engineer, cloud security engineer, right? So there's no special skills that is needed. You see some people are starting at 50, and within the year, over the year, they are now certified cloud engineer working at big company. Because what people want to see is, you have that drive. You can be in arts, you can be in commercial class. I have friends that are earning millions of, let me not say millions in dollars, in Naira, because I know of a friend that is earning $10,000 per month and he stays here in Nigeria, right? And it's not related to, it's not where he started, because he did I know he finished from Yaba Tech. It wasn't tech related at all. It wasn't computer science or this thing. It was something in health management or project planning or so, urban and regional project planning or so that he did. And now he's in tech, he's a full software developer. So there's no background study that is a qualifying factor. Even what some recruiters look at is, if they see someone coming from a non-tech related background and they're making wave in tech, they put more eye on you because they see that, oh, you already have that experience. Because like, say now, people that do computer science and the likes, they have the way they reason. But you that come from project management, that come from maybe fishery or botanical garden or whatever it is, course that you did that is not relating to computer science, they see that, oh, you have another way of reasoning, and you coming to now computer-related course, you are now thriving in tech. They see that, so they put more attention because they see that you already paid that sacrifice to learn, and you are not thriving. No, they give you that special regard, right? So there's no skills or that is required. All that is required is your dedication. Dedicate that, yes, I want to learn this thing and start. Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
That does. Uyo, over to you. Don't run away, madam. Uyo.
Good afternoon. Sorry, good morning. My question goes to us. First of all, I would like to thank the speaker for taking the time to speak to us today. My question is concerning the IaaS and the PaaS. He had given us examples for SaaS, and when I try to look up what IaaS and PaaS could, the examples could be, I got confused because I saw Microsoft Azure as infrastructure as a service, and then Windows Azure as platform as a service. So I was hoping our speaker could elaborate more on those points and differentiate between the infrastructure as a service and the platform as a service, and why Azure can appear in both places. Is it just a naming, or is there something deeper we need to understand? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so what you could, sorry, I'm trying to attend to someone. So what you can, the major difference between IaaS and infrastructure as service is, I was trying to look for, wait, let me see if I could bring up one slide. So majorly what the difference is, in IaaS as a service, right? When I was mentioning in the cloud, when I was mentioning the cloud, right, that it all depends on what you are managing in the cloud. It's my mouse. It's my mouse. Yeah. Yeah. So let me share my screen so you see what I'm saying. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So if you could see by the diagram, it was the on-premise. We have IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So on the on-premise, you are the one managing the whole infrastructure, from your networking to basically everything that makes up your server or your application. You are the one managing everything. Then if you now come to IaaS, infrastructure as a service, the cloud provider has taken away that responsibility away from you. They are the one managing the hardware, the storage, the server, the networking between the server itself, right? They are the one managing that. So what you are just deciding is, oh, I want to deploy a Windows server. I want to deploy a Linux-related server. So you be the one that will decide that. But on the bottom, I didn't say apart from that, you don't have decision power over it. They are the one that is managing that. So why Microsoft Azure is coming as an example of IaaS is because they are cloud providers and they provide that service for you. They provide you services like virtual machines, whereby you create your virtual machine, you decide the OS that you want, you decide this type of virtual machine that you want. Either you want it to be 2 gig RAM, 10 gig RAM, or whatever it is. You be the one that decide that. You also be the one that would now install application on that virtual machine. Sorry. Okay. So you also be the one that would install application on that virtual machine. You also be the one that would put your data on that virtual machine. So I'm explaining those everything that makes up that IaaS as it goes up. Then you have your application running. So we are cloud providers. So you see example of cloud providers, Microsoft Azure, AWS, they fall under IaaS because they provide that service for you. right? They provide you the ability to create virtual machines, to create database servers, to create storage, to create what again? Yeah, those are the infrastructure that you need, your servers majorly, your infrastructure that you need to run your application. So they create that environment for you. So you'll be able to create that environment yourself. So that's why they come out under infrastructure as a service, then under platform as a service. If you could see now, you are not the one creating the operating system. You are not the one creating your middleware. You are not the one putting the runtime on it. Though you may be able to decide that, oh, you want it to run Python, you want it to run C#, you want it to run R language or whichever programming language or whichever platform you want your application to run on. So what you now do is you are not the one deploying your application on that service. So where platform as a service is, like I mentioned, like most cases that you see platform as a service that people make use is developers, software developers that make use of platform as a service. So they don't care about every other thing here. So like in the infrastructure as a service now, you have your cloud engineer to come in to say, oh, that we need a server. So the whole project, we want to deploy a project, so they tell your cloud engineer that we need a server, that server, it must have the application we want to run. It must have 2 gig of RAM, 3 gig of 2 gig RAM, 4 virtual CPU, and also you need like 30 gig of storage for you to run your application. So your cloud engineer goes to the cloud provider, then he provisions this, which is the infrastructure. Then the the developer now comes afterwards to or the cloud engineer itself, in most cases, the cloud engineer, then they install the application framework on that server and configure it to say, oh, do the security part aspect also to say, oh, they don't want this server to be accessible by anybody. They only want this application port to be accessible. So they're the one that will do that on the infrastructure as a service. But on platform as a service, the cloud engineer doesn't do much. All he just do is, so there are even sometimes whereby it's the software developer that goes to do that. They just want, so I need to deploy a Python application, or I need to deploy a React. React is a programming language. It's a React application. I need to deploy a Node application. Node is also a programming language. That I need to deploy that, or React, JX, and the rest. So what they do is they just go to that platform and say, oh, I need to deploy this. So they just get on that platform to say, okay, this is the service, you can deploy on it. So the cloud provider have that service as a platform for them to deploy. So a good example is, if you can Google it, you can Google Heroku, Heroku. It's a good platform as a service. AWS has its own, which is Elastic Beanstalk. It's a good platform as a service. Azure has its own, so which is Azure App Service. So they give you that application platform, you deploy your application on it, and you don't bother about the operating system, how the operating system is being patched, how the operating system is being restarted. Like now, if you're in infrastructure service, if you are using Windows or Linux, you see there's a time whereby it will come that releases updates. They'll tell you that, so there's a new Windows update. You need to update your operating system. That's infrastructure as a service. You have to bother about that. But in platform as a service, you don't bother about those updates. You don't even care about it. The other one does not even come to your notification at all. It's the cloud provider that will do that. Then when you now go to software as a service, that way you don't even care about anything at all. All you just come is just like I'm on this website now. So this one is like the platform. What I just need is I need this information on this website. I go to my browser, I type this website, and I should be able to access this website. So I don't care about how the website is running, if they are doing Windows updates, if they are doing installing a new application, if there's a new update on the application that they wrote. What I know is I just want to access this information. I don't care whatever it is. I just need the information. So that's something I just want to enjoy that service. I don't care about it, right? So that's the summary. So why you see Microsoft or this come under infrastructure service, platform as a service, or software, because they provide those services, right? So yeah, so that's
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
summary of it.
Thank you very, very much. That's explanatory enough. Now we go to American Center, Lagos. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good morning, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I want to, okay, you were saying during the course of your presentation, you said something about other software as a service, about software as a service. There are some other as a service that we can actually add. So something like backup as a service, video as a service. I just said I should ask that. But to my main question, I understand that we have type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. So you didn't really tell us more about that. Well, I think one is for the data center itself, and the other one is for individual. So I need you to explain that to us. Then thirdly, sir, I want to ask, if you want to be certified as an AWS certified cloud practitioner, for example, why do I need to go through Microsoft Azure or a GCP platform, or trying to know anything about them? Since I want to be very good at AWS, why do I need to know all those? Then kindly run us through the process of where you think one can, be able to be certified in that line, especially as AWS certified cloud practitioner. Please, after this training, does it mean one can easily go and write the exams? Or what are those things? Which exam can somebody write? How do you go about it? Who do you meet? Where do you enroll? Something like that. So thank you very much. That's actually my questions. I have more anyway, but I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Okay. So like I will start from the first one. You said there are other services in the cloud. So backup as a service, video as a service. So there are so many. Yes, so that I concur to. Yes, there are so many of them. Because these are just the fundamental of it. Like for like this backup as a service now, you are not here, you don't care about it. So they all fall down, like all the other services, they fall under the software as a service, right? All other services, they fall under the subset of software, because you are not doing anything. All you just want to do is you just want to make use of those services, right? So your second question regarding okay. Sorry, can you remind me the second question? Okay, so you mentioned about certification. Okay, like you mentioned that why are you taking Google Cloud training, whereby you plan to aim for AWS, right? So
yes.
What our advice is you start whichever cloud certification you want to take, either Google Cloud, AWS, or Microsoft Azure, because these are the three major common top industry market in cloud, right? So what you can do is whichever one of it you want to take. If you want to take AWS, the advice when you start with, you do the AWS cloud practitioner, right? Not go and start learning cloud practitioner. Or if you are doing Azure, so you start with AWS cloud practitioner, which is AWS you decide to go with. Right. But so let me just put it out there. So in Nigeria, the two industries that are mostly common is you either see organization running on AWS or running on Azure, or they are running both. The industry running Google Cloud is not as strong as the AWS and Azure. So you can, so whichever was to start with AWS if you are doing AWS cloud practitioner. So you do AWS cloud practitioner. Don't say you want to do AWS cloud practitioner and you're not learning Google cloud practitioner, because there are some key concept that is unique to AWS that is not in Google Cloud. Though Google Cloud will give you, because both of them, or the three of them, they give you the whole core concept about cloud for this thing. So just like like me now, I did Microsoft Azure. I'm very vast in Microsoft Azure. But because of the knowledge I have in Microsoft Azure, I can easily pick up AWS. And the only thing I know is just the naming convention of their services that are different. So I just need to pick up those naming and start understand, okay, AWS is saying their virtual machine, we call it virtual machine. On Azure, on Microsoft Azure, they call it virtual machine. On AWS, they call it EC2 instances. So I need to know that, okay, if someone is saying EC2 instance, it means virtual machine in Azure. If it is in Google Cloud, it is talking about compute this thing. So,
compute.
So you just need to understand that concept and you are good. So if it's AWS you're going for, study your AWS and you'll be fine. So the third question is, how do you, sorry?
Certified. Yeah, how do you get certified under AWS? And what are the process? What do you do after this training? Can someone enroll direct? I mean, how do you what do you do? I just want to know.
How do you start
okay, let's say for example, I want to be AWS certified cloud practitioner. Yes, cloud practitioner. Now, this is the intro. After this intro, what do I do next? What do I do next? Do I enroll into one of these, how do I get the certificate? How do I write the exams?
How do I start any money?
Yeah.
So how to enroll? So you can really go to AWS training websites. I will get the website and I can share. So you can go to AWS training websites to enroll, say you want to take the certification, their certificate platform. So another thing that is good is we also have this, I will try to look for that link. I know there was one time like that, they were running 50% discounts because their trainings or their certification is not in Naira. So you have to pay in dollars. So to take the training or to take the certification, there are exam centers within Lagos, outside Lagos, that you can register on. So they do the equivalent for you. You pay them in Naira, and they register you for the exam. Then you say, okay, you are taking so the exam is so day or so month, whichever the case may be. Core concept is, so you won't, because there was a time that they give people, because there's times that people fail the exam, right? And they give people the opportunity to retake the exam if you fail it the first time. But I'm not sure that, I think that promo has ended, right? So, but in order not to be like you are wasting money or something, so however, you need to take the certification course. So they have, if you search YouTube, you see there are thousands of courses that you would see online that will tell you that, or even the links that they shared. If you take those courses, they won't tell you that, to me, because sometimes I go to YouTube, because there's no course that you are looking for that is not on YouTube. You will see from A to Z, they will tell you, okay, this is what they need, this is the requirements, and they teach you all the concepts that you need to know before you take the exam. You also see on AWS platform, they give you like the mock exam, whereby they just ask you some mock questions just to freshen up your memory. And if you are not really that confident in it, go and learn, because the thing is, once you take the exam and fail or pass, or let's say the person fails, you have to pay again to take the exam. So you need to ensure that, yes, you are fully prepared. So like for the practitioner exam, because like to me now, I didn't do practitioner because I had industry experience in practitioner. So I just went straight for the professional exam. That was on Microsoft Azure. I didn't do the cloud practitioner. But for someone that is just starting, it's better you do the practitioner For people that have industry experience that already know the concept of AWS or Microsoft Azure, they might decide not to go for cloud partition, but if you feel like, oh, I need to at least to understand this concept that I know this thing well, you do the cloud practitioner and cloud providers, so they give you that part that, okay, after cloud practitioner, you go to associate, after associate, then you go to professional. So that's just it. So you just need to prepare. There are resources, thousands, free, paid, that you can decide to choose. There are the ones that is free. You go to sites like Udemy, Coursera, and the like. You might see free courses, you might see paid courses. And if you go to YouTube, that one you see everything is free there. So the only thing you know your burden is your data and your time to understand the concept. And because there was even an exam I did. I could have gone to pay, but I know that there is resources in YouTube, and it was YouTube I used, and I passed there. So you just your dedication majorly. So just go and whichever one, you'll be fine.
Okay, lastly, sir, you didn't answer the question on
It's okay. Let's give other. Hello, let's give other people a chance, please.
There's a question in our center here.
Let's deal with Sokoto first, then we go to Ikeja. Sokoto, but before that, I posted something on the chat box, which might be of interest to you. Mr. Ayodele Dina reached out to me and said he would like to take this further with as many people as are interested. So if you want to have future engagement on this cloud computing, please copy that link there. There's a link there. Copy that link and fill the form, then it will reach out to you. Sokoto, over to you.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. My question is on software as a service. Software as service. SaaS, yes. So I have a question on that because we professional librarians, we always want to have a kind of using the open source software, download and customize for our library services, particularly the Koha. But there are some times that after configuration and then maybe after 1 or 2 years, we will experience this issue of security. The server that we have at Koha may likely break down. And then the engineer will say, there's nothing we can do, we can recover all your data and then resources. This usually brings librarians back to step 1, 0. So please, what advice do you have as a professional for us to be able to have this data security over there? And the second question here is about institutional repository and then open access resources that we create within the institutions. And whenever they give us these resources, we try to scan and then make the resources available via the cloud server. And whenever that one goes down again, we still go back to square one. So please, I need your advice on how librarians can progress in their day-to-day operations so as not to be going back from one software, try to join another one, thinking that one is better than one, since we are not the one hosting the server in the library. Thank you. That is just
Simi, were you able to understand it?
From what I could understand, is like make use of open source software. You install it on the server in whatever your location. Then probably after like a year or two, server crashes, then all the information is gone, right? So one thing that I know for open source software, what you could do, because it's open source, right? You you ensure that you have a backup. So your backup, you could do backup in your local environment and also have it stored elsewhere. Or you could have also what we call cold backup, meaning that you are taking the backup of that your server or that your application, you are putting it on a physical hard drive. But best bet is you put it to the cloud. That's the best bet, right? You put it to the cloud. If that your application has a regulatory, this that your application can't go to the cloud, right? What you could do is have your backup of that your application, have it locally, and also have it in the cloud. So prevention, if the local were to crash, if the backup in your local were to crash, then you know your backup in the cloud, that one is safe, right? So you could have your services like AWS S3, which you could use as your backup. You just copy your files, move it to S3, and that is very cheap. S3 is one of the cheapest service, right, on AWS. So you just like a hard disk that you could move your data to. So if your server were to crash and they spin up a new server, all you just need to do is to restore your application. So another thing is, depending on the type of framework that your application is built on, because there are some applications that are legacy built that you can't just move those applications to the cloud, right? So for those applications, what you just need to ensure is that you have they have these tools which they call snapshots, whereby you take you take like the way you have your system now or your laptop, you take what we call like a snapshot, like a backup at that particular point in time. You take a backup of it and you store it somewhere else. So if that hardware were to crash, all you just need to do is to restore that backup and you have your server up and running. So if it was like now for which I'm trying to look for an example. A good example is I have the company that I work for, and we had a server that we couldn't move. We couldn't move that server to cloud. We could only because so the option was I deploy the application the applications or the server itself to the cloud, move it in the server to the cloud. So that's another option. So, but in your own case, what I would suggest is you have a backup. That one is, it can't be cloud. Just program and enter into your application and crash the old stuff. So you have to when it was what local environments, more or less like you're backing up.
Your line is breaking. Keja, your line is breaking. Hello? Okay. While we're waiting for the facilitator, I will encourage you.
Hello?
We have. Are you back?
Recording in progress.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was saying is you need to have your backup on your on-premise. You need to have your backup in the cloud. You also need to ensure that your backup, if you say you don't want to spend money in the cloud, so you instead of you being in just one place, you have your backup in two redundant places. So you can either take cold backup, whereby you back up to an hard drive. So in case if your secondary backup fails, you can restore back to that hard drive. But the best bet is you have your backup to the cloud. Have it in source like S3, which is a good storage option. Hello.
Hello. Okay. Thank you very much. I would like to reiterate the link that I sent to you earlier. For those who attended the first session, Mr. Dina said a lot of you wanted more information and so on about AWS, and we would like to help you with that. So please, the link is already provided on the chat. All the directors, we're going to send that to you as well, so that you can share with the people in your locations. So if you're interested, fill the form, and then you will take it from there. All right. We have gone through all the questions. And
we have a question.
Yes, I would like to switch to Ikeja now.
All right, my question is this. While I was trying to go through one of the courses and sent to us, fundamentals of cloud computing, there's exact question that somebody from either Shokoto was asking about the difference between IAS or PAS. So I was able to put it in perspective when you're talking about software as a service. So what was going on in my mind? Somebody that is not really in that tech world that is just coming to it, you want to learn about it. Whenever you hear a particular terminology, something like, okay, how do I place it? So the next thing that comes to my mind is, okay, I was going through Team Forest, and okay, there are templates. Okay, from that template, something will, okay, you can, if you don't have a particular service that you want on that website, you can bring in a plugin and deploy a particular application or something like that. So there'll be something else. I have to like do everything on my own. That one is called infrastructure.
Recording in progress.
So I still get it.
So to say
Please,
you are deploying everything
to,
yourself.
Simi, you need to help us recap on that question because we didn't hear the question very well.
Okay, can you? Yes.
Okay. What I try to say is that when it comes to software as a service, I was able to put it in perspective because we mentioned Gmail, we mentioned other applications that we don't really do anything, just like use it. But when it comes to PS, I was like, okay, there's a particular website, I need an application or a particular feature to be on it, and I don't have it. So I tell somebody that will help me to do that, will say, okay, bring in a plugin, put that application there, and I'm able to use it. So I'm looking at that as PAS. So I was like, okay, this website is blank. I need to bring in all the plugin and put all my application. I have to do everything on my own, except that I pay for that template that I've got. So I'm looking at that as infrastructure as a service, because I really don't really get it that way. So that's where I'm putting. So I want to like guide me if that is correct or I don't get it at all.
You got it to some extent. But in infrastructure as a service, let me use this good analogy. Infrastructure as a service, like you want to cook rice. So if you want to cook rice now, you need to get pots, you need to get stove, you need to get kerosene, you need to get or gas, as the case may be. You need to get water, then you need to get your rice to cook your rice. So what the cloud provider is now saying that, oh, they've got the stove, they've got the oven or the gas cooker for you. So what you just need to do is, oh, is it big rice you want, is it party rice you want to cook, or this thing, or small rice you want to cook? If it's party rice, they give you that option to say, okay, we have big pots, which is your server. Then you can now carry your big rice. You say, okay, I want big rice. I want to cook party rice. Then it's okay. You have the option of you picking big pots, which is your server. You put big pots. Then inside your big pots now, you can now start putting your rice, put your water, and put your salt, and the case may be. So that is infrastructure as a service. You are the one choosing the pots. You are the one bringing the water. Your water and your rice is your data now. You are the one putting the rice, water, and data, and your salt to make the rice. So you can say you want to do vegetable rice. You want to do which type of rice again? Coconut rice or stew rice. So you are the one that is flavoring your rice the way it is. So that's your data. So you are the one choosing that infrastructure. So in platform as a service now, they already tell you that, oh, you already have rice cooked. You already have rice cooked. You're not the one announcing that, oh, they're not. So that's like you are not going to restaurants. You are not the one cooking the rice. No, that would be the third one. So you're not the one saying you already have the rice cooked. So you're not saying that, oh, I want it to be jollof rice, I want it to be fried rice. Then you can now bring your ingredients to now say, okay, I'm adding this to turn into jollof rice. I'm adding this to turn to fried rice. I'm adding this to turn to village rice. That's platform as a service. So you know that the work you did now has reduced. You're not adding rice, you're not washing the rice here. They've already done all those ones for you. That's platform as a service. Then the software as a service is the rice is already done. You are just saying that just give me rice. I want to eat rice. So they will either bring you jollof rice. So depending on the type of platform or the software you want. So you cannot say, I want jollof rice. You go to the restaurant that is serving you jollof rice. They'll give you jollof rice. That's software as a service. So in software as a service, they are not doing anything. They are just coming to say, oh, the service is ready. I just need to consume that service. And that's software as a service. I hope that answers questions.
Thank you very, very much. I believe we have covered all the grounds, and I need us to please put your hands together again for Simi. Thank you very, very much. You can't believe it. We told him yesterday night because we almost had another disappointment. And look at the stellar performance that he has put up within this short notice. And that shows to me that you could be another Simi. Someone who is looking at me right now could be another Simi. And he has told us our background does not really matter. If I even said, whole people are not even part of this opportunity. So why can't we all take advantage of this opportunity and make sure that we take it on? We're having one more session next week, and we hope the speaker will show up as planned. We have made every effort to get him. He said finally next week he will be here, and we hope that you will all join us. And please don't be discouraged in any form. Let's make sure we keep coming. Then secondly, we have the second session today, which we have announced, essentials, entrepreneurship essentials, as you can see on the board. Here is a lady who did one of the wonders in terms of entrepreneurship. She provides through a company social entrepreneurship I think it's Brown Bottin, if I don't miss it. And you will come and hear her story. So she'll be talking about business planning and strategy, as well as the legal and regulatory considerations. And I hope she's a lawyer, so I hope you are going to be here. If we were to pay her to come and give this lecture, I know none of us will be easily able to get the money. So I want to once again go to Ikeja to say thank you very much. I feel like clapping again, so please join me again to clap for him, because you wouldn't know what it takes for him to even come on, not to talk of delivering as perfectly as possible. And please remember the link. We're going to send it to all the directors. Share with your members before they leave or through your normal channel, and let people take advantage of this. This is one of the takeaway of this particular course. People should not just be started or warmed up and then left in the cold. So we're giving you opportunity for you to be able to say, okay, I want to take this further. This is the opportunity for me to take it further. So we want to thank you once again, all the directors. I can see the Jigawa window here seated. Thank you very much. I can see even in VI, some of the whole faces who have refused to come to American Center. I can see some of you there also. Thank you very much. Uyo, Abuja, though I can't see all the other ones. Oka, Sokoto, thank you. Maiduguri, thank you. Calabar, thank you. Even though Calabar, usually they're always on their laptop. I don't know whether they are listening to us, but thank you also for coming. I hope to see you. Oshogbo, we recognize you. Thank you very much. Thank you for all your efforts. We hope to see you in the afternoon. Please, let's be up and running. Let's get here on time for the afternoon session. Bye-bye, everyone. Simi, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yes.